Good morning, everyone. I'm Simona Bielli. I work at Nesta in the digital startup team. We have been working in the previous 2 years on a project around facilitating collaboration between corporate and startups. So today I'd like to present you a few findings, to share with you them, and also present you how to overcome internal barriers in corporate and startup collaboration. So before to start, how many corporates do we have in the room? Raise your hand. Okay, quite a good number. How many startups? Good. Good, that's great. I guess the rest are academia or intermediaries, right? Okay, great. So I guess this will be interesting to learn things from each other. So just to give you a little bit of context, corporates are many more corporates are understanding the benefits of collaborating with startups. So 90% of them affirm that startups are crucial to their innovation strategy. The number of corporate accelerators increased in the last years. Also the number of corporate venturing units, and particularly scale-ups find that the collaboration with corporates can help them grow and make revenues. So this reason led us to work on this project, the Startup Europe Partnership. Eleonora already introduced what this project is about. Nesta is the research partner in this project around, again, facilitating the collaboration and the work between corporates and startups. So we produced these two reports, Winning Together and Scaling Together. Winning Together is more about helping corporates that already work with startups on working more effectively with them, and especially for corporates that have never done so, just to enter in this space and get a kind of guide that sets a few steps to follow, like think about your objectives first, then think about the programs and that you can implement to achieve these objectives and measure them. So we have done a few case studies about it. We've interviewed 50 executives, and while doing so, we realized that actually corporate and startup collaboration is not that easy. There are many challenges internally and in the relationships between corporates and small firms. Some of them, I guess you know this problem, right? I mean, the startup is a small business. They have just one person or two or three that have to manage so many things. So the way they work is very lean, it's quick, it's very agile, but at the same time, the person who takes the decision is just one or two. In a corporate, you have to report to someone that reports to someone. So everything takes longer, and there is a certain hierarchical structure. This is the first problem, because you create different expectations and different way of working. Another problem that corporate might face, and startups as well, is that there is often a different idea for startups of how to sell their products to corporate. So what happens is that they might go and just talk about the product and the benefits in a very technical way without really understanding what the corporates want, and this creates a lot of ineffective communication, because then it doesn't lead to a long-term relationship. So the way we analyze it is thinking about the barriers of the ecosystem and of the different actors playing in the ecosystem. And we focus particularly on the relational barriers and on the internal barriers. So I'll talk today more about the internal barriers, but I brought some reports so you can find also some more findings in there. The internal barriers. So we classify them in cultural, strategic, procedural, and structural, and then we have some cross category barriers. So I will present some case studies in a few minutes, but basically, when you try to champion an idea inside the corporate, you might find a lot of obstacles. First of all, is the culture. So you might talk to people that don't know what startups are. They are afraid of fail. there are structural problems, so you might have the wrong structure that doesn't facilitate you to take decisions forward, or to involve the CEO, for instance, in decision, or someone that is a little bit more senior. You might have procedural problems, so you have set up some processes that are very long, for instance, procurement, for instance, payment, right? So you don't have the right processes in place to register as a small supplier, and this delay the payment a lot. Or you might have some strategic problems, so there is not a clear goal and priority inside the corporate. Startups are not at the center of the innovation strategy, and so in different departments and in different functions, you might not even think about startups, and having a bad perception of that, or not understanding how they work might lead to some dysfunctionalities or some not effective processes, internal processes. So I brought some case studies. These are corporates that we have interviewed for the reports. And I thought that to explain how to overcome strategic barriers, Telefonica is a good example. So today, Telefonica is the CEO of Telefonica today is that guy that a few years ago championed the Viral program. So I do agree a lot with Tesco, with the lady who presented Tesco, because it's true, you start small, you start piloting the program, and then this can grow a lot. Like now today, the CEO of the company is very focused on innovation, but especially the Viral program has been awarded as one of the best corporate accelerators, and they understood very well how startups work. For instance, the startups that graduate from that program, inside their advisory board, they have a Telefonica member, at least at the director level, that help facilitate the relationship among the startup and the business alliance inside the corporate. So make things much easier for the startup than has to sign a deal inside or a partnership with the corporate. Another interesting thing that they have done is, for instance, they pay in 48 hours. So they have fast-track procurement. This is very good for a startup that has scarce resources and often struggle to have cash flow. Another example for the procedural barriers or obstacles is Enel. I think Enel is an energy company in Italy. And I think what they have done is very interesting, because to make the decision-making process quicker, they structure the process in different steps. So the employees, for instance, the innovation managers or the experts from the business lines that have to provide a feedback on a particular startups, they have 15 days to do so. The due diligence needs to be done in 3 weeks. Let's say the contract in 1 month. Everything has a very short timeline, so that at the end of the year, if each department, so from the legal to the procurement to the innovation department, has done their job in their time, they will get a bonus, or they have some incentives and bonuses at the end. So this is very interesting, because they found a process to make things easier for startups. Then another couple of examples. Rabobank, I really like the examples from Tesco about breaking silos inside the corporate and fostering entrepreneurial culture. I think Rabobank did something very interesting. They built a program called Moonshot, where employees with different ideas have the opportunity to go and work in a separate space, separate from the corporate, and team up with other employees and basically accelerate their ideas. It's a 3 months program, and what they've started it 1 year and a half ago, and now they have already 7 spin-outs. So it looks quite successful. And another thing that they do is they partner with a lot of accelerators like Startup Bootcamps or Rockstart in the Netherlands or in UK. And it's very interesting because they said, it's a two-way mentorship, right? We share our expertise with the startups, but we learn a lot. We learned about the lean startup methodology, we learned about the business model canvas, about growth hacking, and all these methodologies are applied inside the corporate, so we can use them to build our own things inside. And then about structural barriers, Cisco structure the company in business units, so each business unit is independent. So when they have to start a conversation with the startups, to sign a partnerships, etc., everything is easier because they don't have to report to anyone else. Everything can happen in the business unit, and if startups go to speak to the right executive, actually also payment terms and the structuring of the contract, IP terms can be decided in a quite a short period of time. So to close my speech, there are different barriers in collaborating with startups. It's not easy. Also internally, you need to champion this and put a lot of effort in doing it. But the benefits are a lot. If you want to know more abroad, again, some reports. Yeah, these are my contacts. Thank you very much.